Overnight, the United States lost one of its most influential and consequential senators. Lindsey Graham died Saturday evening after what his office called a brief and sudden illness. He was 71 years old. Mr. President, it is just extraordinary. You just spoke with him last night. His office says he passed away from a brief and sudden illness. Are you learning any more details about how and why he may have passed? Did he tell you anything in that phone call, Mr. President, about not feeling well?
No, he said he's a little tired. It was a long trip, many hours. But no, he felt okay. I mean, I actually, on the call, he told me, Kristen, he said, I feel good, but I'm tired. He was fine. I knew him well. He would let you know if he wasn't feeling well. He had days where he didn't feel so well, and he'd let you know about it. But he was a fantastic person. He was a man who you're going to watch. It's going to be a very big thing with him. He's going to be appreciated more now than he was when he was living.
Donald Trump was the last person to speak with Lindsey Graham. Minutes before Lindsey Graham died, Kash Patel over at the FBI says the FBI is putting lots of resources into assisting in connection with the death of Lindsey Graham. Donald Trump is panicking over Lindsey Graham's sudden death.
Authorities were called to his home, responding to initial reports of a cardiac arrest. Again, his office saying a brief and sudden illness. Do you have any more details?
I would think it would be that, because when I spoke to him, it could have been, minutes before, based on based on the fact that I heard about the call, whatever time that was. So it was shortly before. But it had to be something like that, because he was, other than being tired, he was fine. And so it had to be something like that would just be a quick end. And maybe that's not the worst way to go.
Then Donald Trump called into CNN. He spoke with Jake Tapper, and Jake Tapper's like, can we just also speak for a moment about the war with Iran? Are you back at war with Iran?
Yeah, obviously was very supportive of the strikes against Iran. The U.S. and Iran have been engaging back and forth in strikes over the last few days and overnight. Are we back at war, and who controls the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, I don't want to, out of respect for Lindsey, I'm not talking about that. We hit him very hard last night, so I don't want to talk about it, but I will say we hit him very hard last night. We had to deal with them yesterday. They were giving up everything. And then all of a sudden, 2 hours after that, they hit a ship with a drone. And I said, these people, there's something wrong with them. But I'm talking about a man who had nothing wrong with him, and that's Lindsey Graham.
And to his credit, Jake Tapper continues to press Donald Trump. It says, I understand that that's what you want to do, but the American people are very scared right now and are suffering right now and are very confused. And we need to know what the hell is going on with this never-ending war, with what you're doing with Netanyahu. What's going on here? So Iran has declared the Strait of Hormuz is closed, and all of the shipping data suggests it is indeed closed. Is that true? Remember Donald Trump during COVID? If you don't test, you don't know there's cases. If you don't talk about it, let's just pretend the Strait of Hormuz is open. And as I'll just show you in a little bit, Donald Trump then had CENTCOM publish messages saying the Strait of Hormuz is open.
Iran has declared the Strait of Hormuz closed. Is that true, Mr. President?
It's open as far as we're concerned. Don't talk about it. Talk about the reason that you asked me to speak.
Okay. We appreciate your time, sir. Before I let you go, is there any other final word that you want the American people to know about Lindsey Graham? What was it about?
No, I think his finest moment was his defense of Brett Kavanaugh, who's a terrific guy and was treated very, very unfairly by the Democrats, very unfair. I've never seen anything like it. Maybe the worst I've ever seen anyone treated. That includes me. Well, maybe not me, but it includes just about everybody. He was treated so unfairly, and Lindsey, as you remember, had that moment. And, I'll tell you, Jake, I think it was a top 10, maybe a top 5 moment in the history of the Senate. It was an incredible display. And he did it from the heart. He felt strongly about Brett, and he did it from the heart. And it turned that whole thing around. He was really amazing. That was one they should replay.
Well, I know you don't want to talk about any other issues out of respect for Lindsey Graham, but we would love to have you back sometime because I do have a lot of other questions for you, sir.
Sure, we'll do that.
And then Donald Trump says to Jake Tapper, we want CNN to go a little bit more normal. And Tapper's like, well, I feel like we're normal right now, sir. I think we're on a normal path. And then just notice, this is a quality of Donald Trump. He's a keyboard warrior, and he'll talk a lot of trash and say horrible things on social media posts. But when Jake Tapper says, we are normal, sir, Donald Trump goes, you are. And by the way, do you hear how sickly Donald Trump sounds? Donald Trump sounds deeply sick. And what's interesting was before Lindsey Graham passed, he was sick in the head, in my opinion, but he didn't sound sick, Lindsey Graham, unlike Trump, who sounds very sickly.
Thank you for calling
We're
in.
trying to have CNN go in a normal path, and we'll do that.
Well, I'm on a normal path right here, sir, and I appreciate your time,
Good,
and thank you for calling in.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thanks so much. We'll be right back after this quick break.
And then Donald Trump's like, okay, this is the reason that I'm calling, Jake. Let me explain to you what Lindsey Graham's death means to me and to this country. I think Lindsey Graham would have been there very strongly to help me eliminate the filibuster, Jake. A moving tribute by Donald Trump.
Have a different attitude, but we got along on it. Essentially, we agreed. And essentially, we agreed on almost everything. Where he was really becoming strong was the Save America Act. He was really, and I think he was going to be there very, very strongly on the filibuster. He was against terminating the filibuster, and I think he was doing that because he said we have a budget coming up and we have debt ceiling coming up, and the Democrats will, they're deranged in many ways, and they're not going to be able to do it. So he was coming aboard, I think, for the filibuster, terminating the filibuster. But before we did that, he was a strong advocate for Save America. And that's what he called me about last night. I mean, I think of it. I spoke to him he had already landed. He was probably at his place. I don't know where he was, but I spoke to him, and then I got a call a few hours later saying, late in the evening, at 2 o'clock in the morning, actually. But they found out about it, I think, about 8 o'clock, about his problem. But so it had to be something very quick because he was fine. Other than being tired, he was fine.
Then when Donald Trump was on Meet the Press, he said regarding Lindsey Graham's death, this is a big blow to the Save America Act, Trump's voter suppression bill. This is a big blow to that. And so that's how Donald Trump will remember Lindsey Graham. Lindsey Graham would have helped Donald Trump more pass the Voter Suppression Act.
And he was an amazing advocate. I don't know how you find anybody like him. He was so intense. I mean, he literally called me about the Save America Act. That's why that's where I heard. Think of it. He's traveling for many, many hours. That's a long flight. That's a long trip. And he, calls me about the Save America Act. He thought we were going to get it passed.
Do you remember This is a big blow to the Save America Act, let me tell you.
By the way, and then Kristen Welker says, hey, Donald, Iran says the Strait of Hormuz is closed. CENTCOM says it's open. Which is it? Donald Trump goes, it's open. I don't want to talk about it. We thought we had a deal. Iran really wants a deal. It's open. Everything is going great.
This morning, Mr. President, you obviously launched a fresh round of strikes overnight. Iran said overnight the Strait of Hormuz is closed. CENTCOM came out this morning and said the Strait of Hormuz is open. Which is it, Mr. President, and how are you going to respond?
And I don't want to talk about it because I want to honor the life of Lindsey Graham, so I don't want to talk about it. I told you that before the call.
Yeah.
It's open. We bombed the hell out of them last night. They're very, very evil and sick people. We had meetings with them they agreed to a deal yesterday, a perfect deal for us. No nuclear, no this, no that, no nothing. They gave up everything. And then after that, they left the room. And then within an hour, they launched a drone at a ship. I said, you people are sick. You're sick people. And so it's one of those things. I don't want to talk about it.
Finally, before I let you go.
I want to talk about one person today, Lindsey Graham.
Share with you what Iranian media had to say about Lindsey Graham's passing. One well-known host on Iranian media said, "I congratulate the Iranian nation on warmongering anti-Iran U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham being sent to hell." Another Iranian TV anchor says, "Lindsey Graham, the anti-Iranian senator, has gone to hell. The news is so good that I want to read it to you once more. Lindsey Graham, the anti-Iranian senator, has gone to hell." That's what they're saying in Iran right now. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hit subscribe.